How's it going? Welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about Freedom's Flame. Yeah. I think it's alright. It could be better, could be worse. It's one of the only places in the game where you can get the fire resistant armor. The other place being the superstore for the heavy armor. I think there's another medium set in the superstore. I could be wrong though. I opted to bring Orbital Napalm, leaning into the whole aesthetic of fire. I did bring Eagle 500 kilogram bomb just because we needed a little more anti-tank in the loadout. I brought the Cookout from the warbond, the crisper also from the warbond. I brought the Flamethrower, also leaning into the thing. I wanted to bring the jump pack just because I think it's fun to play around with. And the warbond comes with no stratagems, so I didn't feel bad. I didn't feel like I was missing anything that I could have shown. I think the only thing that was in the warbond that I didn't really bring was the torture. And if you would like to imagine the torture, just take the normal flamethrower and decrease its DPS by about 20% if you don't have the ship upgrade. And it's literally the same thing, has all the same stats. Same with the crisper. So there's not really much to talk about with those two because they're just copies of the flamethrower with damage that is either exactly the same or a little less, depending on if you have the ship upgrade that'll upgrade the flamethrower's damage. So, I think they're good. I'll talk more about them later. I did want to talk a little bit about my gameplay this video because as I dropped in, I prioritized doing the Mega Nest first, and it's always a pleasure to do it when you're using the jump pack because you can kind of do some crazy stuff with it. Your movement can be pretty interesting. I was originally going to do Eagle 500 kg, but I was on the wrong side of the Mega Nest. The big bug hole's on the other side. So I opted to stick to grenades until I made it over there. Now, if you are someone who's been watching every day, you know that my earbuds broke the other day, and I've been unable to, or it kind of affected my recording capacity. The update on that is I'm using some awful earbuds right now that have no foam insert on them at all. I throw the Orbital Napalm Barrage over the wall so that it'll land on the bug breach, and then I start rapidly clearing the area. We do make it over to the big bug hole. I wasn't sure if that throw would kill it or not. I was pretty sure it might. It's kind of seems close enough, and it did, which is good. Yeah. Okay, so the warbond. Where would I put it? I think, well, let's talk about everything in it first. The Cookout used to be the king of all the shotguns by a mile. It was really, really good. Incredibly good. But they have since tuned how fire damage affects enemies with the release of the Coyote a while ago. And there have been other shotguns released that are better, or, subjectively better. It depends on how you view things. I did miss that previous throw on the bug hole, but it is what it is. Fuck, I was going to try not to say that this video. It's like a reflex at this point, because someone hit me with the "it is what it is" counter, and it was at 11 in a 30-minute video. I was like, oh man, I say it too much. That's once every 3 minutes, or a little less, a little more actually. But I will try and refrain from saying it as much. But you know. Anyways, I have to stop myself from saying it. The moment I say "but," I'm just my brain just wants to follow it up. This video is basically just gonna be an ad to use the jump pack more against bugs. I had actually so much fun maneuvering around this Mega Nest with it, and for the rest of the video you'll see. Now there is also there's a car on one of the objectives, and I literally never fail to make use of a free car, so you will see that later in the video as well. I think it is one of the best stratagems in the game, so to just kind of get it for free sometimes on random missions is awesome. I do have one grenade left, and I have one hole left. Very nice. This isn't the worst Mega Nest layout, so this one wasn't that bad. Only took me about 3.5 minutes-ish. Now, I'm a huge proponent of not wearing fire resist armor when you use the flamethrower, unless you're just starting to learn how to use the flamethrower, because I feel like the vast majority of the time you can get away with never actually setting yourself on fire. Now here, I do know that diving backwards will set myself on fire, but I continue firing regardless because I know I'm wearing the fire resist armor. So I do set myself on fire more than the average in this video, but it is kind of because I know I'm wearing stuff that can take it. If you don't have the fire resist armor but still want to learn how to use the flamethrower, I would also recommend using the shield backpack, because that will kind of prevent it to a certain degree. Anyways, I end up heading towards, I think, Sieve Artillery, because I could see it on the map immediately, and it has the car next to it, and getting the car early is pretty nice, because you can kind of scout the rest of the map super easily with it, and figure out what still needs to be done. I do make some stupid mistakes with the car. I do a lot of stupid misplays in this video, but it was kind of because I was having fun and I wasn't taking it too seriously. Those things kind of go hand in hand. But I start heading northeast towards the Sieve Artillery with the intention of at least starting it. I was pretty sure I wasn't going to finish it because there was an entire bug breach worth of bugs moving towards me very expeditiously. And I didn't really want to deal with any of that. So I made sure that killed the charger, because otherwise he would have made it to my location a lot faster. And I do, as I round the corner to Sieve Artillery, I see that there is a patrol that was spawned on top of Sieve Artillery, which is very bad luck for me, but what can you do? I think I just hop in the car and drive away, because there's no real point in me staying here immediately. I wanted to go look for some of the other side objectives, because I had no clue what any of them were yet. I couldn't tell based on the map what anything was. So I was looking for an exit out of the city. Unfortunately, the car can't fit through there, but I was able to just barely dodge the charger there. Now the car can take a lot of punishment, more than you'd really expect, but I wouldn't really advise letting anything hit it. Now I remembered I passed an exit over here, which is why I ended up driving back this way, and then I passed it again. But the good thing is the car is a lot faster than a lot of the enemies of Liberty, so you can kind of get away with this, like this slowing down to make turns like this, because even though it feels like you're barely moving, you're still going a lot faster than a lot of enemies. And then I wasn't really sure where I wanted to go yet, because I hadn't really seen anything on the map that looked promising as something that could be a side objective. So I just kind of ended up driving straight north and kind of staring out into the rest of the map, kind of scanning the horizon, if you will. Unfortunately, an ion storm causes me to have to close my map basically because I can't really see my relative position. So I end up turning in here, I think, or maybe not. I think I end up turning into the city eventually, but I should have realized there was nothing in the city, but it is what it is. I do see at least one spore spewer back there, which is promising at the very least. So I get out of the car to make sure I mark him, because that will mark them on my map for later on. Unfortunately, it is still an ion storm, so it's not immediately helpful, but it will be helpful eventually. And now, as anyone who plays a lot knows, we are looking for 5 side objectives at most, and at the very minimum, the least I've seen on a difficulty 10 is 2, but it's very rare, and I think there was extenuating circumstances. So I ping where I think there's maybe LiDAR, and I end up driving right by a stalker layer in the fog, which also marks on the map. Very nice for me. I end up not really heading towards my ping. I end up heading more towards the spore spewers, because I think maybe I can deal with them in the meantime, and I can check to see if this other red dot at the very top is another spore spewer just hiding between the other ones. Turns out it's not. It is a light nest over there, because we saw the bug hole like smoke. So I do kind of hop out real quick, or not even hop out, I just kind of pop my head out the passenger side door. I drop an Eagle 500 on that spore spewer, and then I end up driving over to check this other red dot on the map. Now this ended up being a bug hole, or bug nest, and thankfully we still have another Eagle, so I drop Eagle 500 here, hop back in the driver's seat, and keep rolling. The car is incredible for solo players, in my opinion. It is really genuinely like one of the best stratagems, and a lot of people sleep on the car. But yeah, it is a little unwieldy, so you do have to, there's kind of a learning curve about driving it. I ended up driving back towards where my ping was, because I wasn't sure. It seemed like there might be LiDAR here, because as of now we found 4 out of our potential 5 side objectives. I roll up here, and I don't see anything immediately that looks like LiDAR. And I kind of zoom in on the map. I ping this, which is what kind of looked the most like LiDAR to me. ended up just being another minor place of interest. So unfortunately, we did not find... Well, we found, to be fair, we found the majority of our side objectives. So this was still a success. So we'll take it, and we end up deciding to head back to Seif, because all of the bugs that were previously looking for us and were around Seif have for sure despawned now. There's a way to make that turn a little better. I just kind of screwed up. I think I accidentally rolled a car here, and that's just because this was a very awkward way in, and I should have done this a little better. And this is like one of the worst ways you can roll the car, but to be honest with you, never give up on the car until it explodes, because if it's rolled over, it'll start taking damage and will eventually explode. So just use whatever means you can to help flip it. If you're not the driver, and if you are the driver, to be honest, if you're not the driver and your driver knows what they're doing, let the driver flip it, because they almost 95% of the time are going to have explosives, unless the driver runs away. If the driver runs away, then you can start trying to flip it. But vast majority of the time, let the driver do it, because they probably know how to better than you if you don't drive a lot. Now I start carrying shells up to load Seif. The reason I'm doing this kind of thing with my camera is so that I can catch and drop it a little more efficiently. By looking behind me, it just makes the prompt appear a little easier. Now I wanted to prioritize mini nukes, high yields, explosives, and napalms, which is why I grabbed the napalm over the static field. I end up grabbing both the explosives from this side and call it clear, and then I want to check around a little more, because Seif has a very high patrol spawn rate if you are standing on Seif artillery. And so as you can see, there's one already coming in there, and I think another one just spawned right over there, right inside the city. Very unfortunate for me, but thankfully we found the majority of our shells already. I think this is 4 out of the 5 we need. And I was down to call us good and hop back in the car and come back to this later, because we just heard the Eagle 500 come back off cooldown. We have another Spore Spewer up north that we can go deal with pretty easily. So that is exactly what I did. Now, I did remember this time that there was no exits to the north, so I end up instead checking the far west and then south. And I do see a nice, very convenient way out here. And I can just pull straight on out and right through this horde of bugs. That's not always the most efficient way to do things. Sometimes that can kill you, so just be a little wary. Here, I knew this guy was already retreating, so he wasn't going to cause an issue. I could just drive right through him. I do almost flip the car a little bit, but you always want to turn towards the 2 wheels that are still on the ground when the car is kind of losing control like that. And the reason for this is that by turning that direction, you're kind of forcing gravity to swing the other 2 wheels back down to the ground.
Dropping a pin.
I ended up dropping a pin on the stalker layer because I want to get that done and out of the way as fast as possible. Although the Cookout from the Freedom Flame warbond is very good at dealing with them, because it will cause them to stagger and I think kill them in 2 to 3 shots, if not set them on fire in less. Before the fire changes, I think the Cookout shotgun was probably the best shotgun in the game, especially for bugs. Now I think it's a little more niche. I think it's still good. It's still probably one of the better shotguns for sure, but I think it is kind of fallen a little bit to the wayside with the release of the M90A, which has higher impact damage, and probably the Sweeper as well, because the Sweeper is just very, very good. I think the Sweeper also has higher damage, but the Sweeper also has medium penetration. Now I threw that a little too close to that. There was a very unfortunate bounce. It is what it is. God, I said it again. It's 2. Or 3, depending if you count me saying it earlier, because I knew I said it wrong. But I ended up pulling up to here. We already did the 3 of the holes with the Eagle 500 earlier, so we're able to get that done pretty quickly. Hop back in the car, and we can drive back around to the Spore Spewer. Now, I was pretty interested in getting all of these side objectives done as fast as possible, because they do not affect enemy spawns at all. However, once you start closing nests and main objectives, those will affect enemy spawns. So I dropped my Eagle 500 there, and we are done with all of our side objectives except for Seif, which is a little bit of a spoiler, because I do spend a significant amount of time later on looking for other side objectives, just in case there's another one. But I'll tell you right now, there isn't. There was only 4, and we are now done with 3 out of the 4. And Sieve Artillery is very close to being done. We have like 4 of the shells there, the terminal's on. We're chilling. I did roll up over here to drop a Orbital Napalm Barrage over on that because I figured I wasn't facing a lot of combat on Sieve, so I can leave it to kill some eggs, and I'll come back to this place later. Yeah, so I don't know. The armor seems kind of not super worth it in my opinion, just because I think that the passive's kind of overrated. A lot of people use it for flamethrowers, whereas I think it is kind of a crutch for those people using flamethrowers, and you can 100% play without it and play with a more useful passive instead. So, you know, kind of take that advice with a grain of salt if you want. Because I think my opinion on the usage of flamethrowers goes against the rest of the communities in terms of the ability to not have to worry about using in the inflammable passive, but I've never really had an issue with it. Except for like the very first time I was learning how to use flamethrowers, and then I was like, okay, I set myself on fire a couple times. How do I deal with this? See, this is like where it's very, very important to make sure you're able to like turn towards the wheels that are on the ground to keep the car from flipping. When you hit those mines, they will almost guarantee flip the car. Now, because I flipped it here earlier, I was very careful coming back in, and I knew where the last shell was. I knew there was another napalm shell down here, right there in that corner. So I pull up to grab that, and this should be the last thing we need. Should be pretty easy. I kind of screwed up the juggle quite a bit there, but what can you do? Anyways, so I think this is probably one of the lower war bonds, probably top 15. I would really stretch to put it in top 10. I think the crisper is interesting because the crisper, having a secondary sidearm, can be very good for certain stuff. Because it used to be, I don't know if you still can, but you used to be able to mag dump the bottom of a factory starter and kill it with just the crisper, which was kind of incredible. Like mag dump its belly, if you know what I'm talking about, which is kind of incredible. I don't know if you still can, because that was a while ago. Last I saw someone talk about that. But the Cookout, as you can see, you don't need to kill everything in one hit, because a lot of times, as long as you just hit it hard enough to set it on fire, you're kind of good. They will die. And it staggers. It does stagger stalkers, which is like a lot of the reason people like the Cookout, because you can continuously stagger stuff. Now I'm dropping pings looking for the last side objective. There's not another one, so all this time I'm like looking around is kind of wasted for, like, to be honest with you. And I do some really stupid things coming up, but I'll let the gameplay speak for itself, because up until now I was playing pretty well. Like that first the first Mega Nest clear I did, beautiful, chef's kiss. But now I'm like driving around without looking at my map. I think I drive right through the Mega Nest, and there is still a lot of enemies in there. Very stupid on my part. Yeah, because I'm pinging over there, and I'm like, yo, I should go check that out. Now, the entire terrain around a Mega Nest is all going to be flat, just because of how terrain generation works. Instead, I end up flipping the car in the middle of 2 chargers in the Mega Nest. This is like incredibly stupid. Now I did touch the egg just to make sure, just to see if I ever wanted to come back for it, but very stupid. Thankfully I survived, but very stupid, because you can just drive around the entirety of a Mega Nest way faster than you would be able to drive through it, because all of the terrain around the Mega Nest, because of generation, is going to be flat. Why I did not do that, I have no clue. I head over here because I was looking to see if there was maybe like a stalker layer over there, but nothing showed up on the map, not even a question mark, so I was pretty sure there wasn't. But it's kind of hard to tell. I do a lot of hunting for the last side objective that I've already done, and I just don't realize yet. Now, the upside about my stupid mistake earlier is that the bug breach was called over there, so now I am kind of free to do whatever I want, and this is one of the easiest egg tiles, I should say, because this is very, very open and not a lot of eggs. 19 eggs in a tile is pretty easy to do. And I think there's only like 2 or 3 holes. I do hear the Bile Titan behind me, which unfortunate, but what are you gonna do? And I don't know what he was aiming at, because he was pretty far off from me. and I get all but one egg, and it's that one egg that we walked by earlier. I do drop Eagle 500 in the hopes that that actually deals with it, and then I jetpack into another patrol. Things did eventually get a little crazier. Once I no longer have the car, there's a lot more running and gunning, which is, you know, however you want to see it. Depending on what you want to see, good or bad. If you like watching me drive, it's pretty bad. If you don't like watching me drive, it's pretty good. Yeah. So we're done with first eggs, and we are heading. I really wanted that, as you can tell, but it was not in the cards. Now I really should stim. There we go, because I had no stamina, and things were getting pretty bad pretty quickly. I drop another Eagle 500 with the hopes that it kills the Bile Titan. I think it did. I'm not sure. I don't hear his footsteps anymore, so probably, yeah, he did. And then I light my pilot light and start going to town with the Flamethrower. I quite like the Flamethrower. I still think it's really good. If you guys are interested, I'll probably make like another video with the cremator or something. And then I hop right into this new nest. I heard like a charger start charging, but this guy just stayed put, so I'm not exactly sure what was going on here. Really, I don't know. Some kind of weird audio cue or something. Now he starts charging, which is a little strange. The car, even though it staggers me, or not staggers me, ragdolls me, it does stagger the charger, so it at least a little balanced. Now this is a heavy nest with 10 bug holes, almost as much as our mega nest that we've already done. I do get one of those done. Now I don't have any more grenades, which is kind of a shame. I opt to just jetpack out and come back to this another time. Oh, 3 out of 10, very nice. They're doing a lot of work for me there, which is pretty nice. We have about 20 minutes left, so we are kind of chilling on time. This is one of the easier mission types in my opinion. I do get some new grenades. I want the stims as well. And then I knew there was a Bile Titan, so I grabbed the rocket launcher in the hopes that I could do something with it. But I very quickly realized that there was a lot more warriors that were going to catch up with me first, so I switched back to the Flamethrower. Anyways, yeah, I think top 15, maybe. Like, it's average to below average. Yeah, I think after the top 7, it just kind of becomes personal preference. You can kind of get this one whenever. I would probably get it closer towards the end. I would maybe put the top 20. The Cookout used to be really, really good, and it's not bad now. It's still good. It's just, it's no longer the king. It's been power crept by so many other shotguns added. It was hit pretty hard by the nerfs to the Coyote, because the nerfs to the Coyote nerfed every single flame weapon, such as the Breaker Incendiary, the Cookout, the Coyote itself. Like, it nerfed a lot more than they intended to with that. Now this felt cool. I don't think it really did much, but the jump pack over them and just spraying fire down felt pretty sick. I'm not gonna lie to you. Now I had no real way to. Well, I did have another Eagle 500 to deal with the Bile Titan, but I was pretty sure that I wanted to use it on the upcoming eggs. Now this was pretty unfortunate, but kind of okay. And then I dived backwards into the terrain, and unfortunately, if I had just waited the entire time the Bile Titan was spitting, I could have just crawled out. I was not aware. I was not aware that I was invulnerable in there, so I ended up just dying in kind of a weird way. But it's alright. We end up calling in some new stuff over here. Now, I do think Firebomb Hellpods are one of the worst boosters in the game, and a lot of people will say that taking it is akin to trolling, and this is kind of the reason why, because I have to wait like several meters away from where my stuff is coming down before I can even get close to it, otherwise it's just going to set me on fire. And to be honest, that's not the biggest deal when you're using fire resist armor, but if you're not, it kind of sucks. That grenade was just a little short, but we get it eventually. This Bile Titan proving to be a continuous thorn in my side. I ended up prepping an Eagle 500, but I stopped myself because I really wanted to potentially use it on the eggs. And I started heading in, but there is unfortunately some enemies right on the outside. Yeah, so I mean, I think the armor sets aren't really super worth it. The only really time I've ever like sought out to use the inflammable passive was like when I was using the double-edged sickle. And now I use the salamander armor, which is the superstore armor anyways, because you get more damage resist from being in heavy armor as well anyways. And so it really doesn't make a whole lot of sense for me to advocate to buy it for the armor. I also think the armor looks kind of stupid. Well, actually, I did use the fire resist armor versus dragon roaches as well, so I guess it does have some use cases, but I don't know. I think if I didn't have the warbond, I would just not play dragon roaches, to be honest with you. Or you could use like the dust devil warbond stuff. Here, I thought I had made it up, but the game disagreed with me, so unfortunate. So after that point, I ended up trying to kind of full reset. I think I had to run back to my other stuff because I just called in that new stuff and there was no way I was getting back over there with the amount of enemies over there. So I ended up heading back to my other flamethrower and jetpack, or jump pack, sorry, not really jetpack, which was right over here. I did check my stratagems to see what I had that I could call in. Not a lot. My samples are permanently glitched because I just dived through the wall there earlier for some reason. The cookout, very nice for making space. A lot less nice for setting things on fire nowadays. It used to be way better. I do call Orbital Napalm on that bug breach, and then I start heading probably back over to my resupply. Now this diving is literally just to like deal with the hunters, because they will get on top of you if you do not like constantly dive. But yeah, flamethrower is still strong, still very good. Deals with all the remnants that survive the napalm breach or the napalm barrage pretty easily. Everything else is pretty much guaranteed dead on the spot. So I start heading over to my resupply, and then I want to head back in and finish up these eggs. As per usual, the later in the video we get, the worse I start playing for some reason. I think it's because whenever I play badly in the start of the video, we just don't make it to a later in the video. I just like quit out. I'm like, whatever, we'll come back to this. Or I just don't make it to the mission entirely. But we do kill everything here. We are fully done with this. I do decide to do the furthest nest from extract first because it makes a lot of sense to me to work towards extract. And we only really have this nest, or we have 2 nests and the last main objective left. Yeah, flamethrower is good. It's not in the warbond, but it's good. I think the torture is very similar. I maxed the torture before the fire changes. I've always liked flamethrowers, so I always thought they were pretty good. A lot of people aren't the biggest fans of it. I think it's good. And the torture, for those who are learning about the warbond, is the primary flamethrower that comes with the warbond. And just for some like trivia or fun facts, or for your, information to weigh the warbond compared to other things, the crisper and the torture share the anti-tank properties of the flamethrower. So honestly, it's one of the very few actual anti-tank primaries, because the only thing the only other thing that has heavy penetration outside of the torture is like the eruptor. So it's kind of strange how despite being a flamethrower, it's one of the very few actual anti-tank primaries. But I'm a big fan of it. We do end up coming back to this bug nest. We did 4 holes earlier. This time we have just a few left. I do drop the Eagle 500 right there, a grenade in there, and then that deals with 5, 6, 7, 8, and then we have 9. And then I was pretty sure the last one was on the other side, but they did call a bug breach right between me and there. I did just kind of go right through that, which somehow worked, and then I have to crawl out from under this car. But it did work. So yeah, hard to call it a mistake there. I do end up ending up running into this patrol of hunters, but luckily the cookout very, very good against them in specific. The cookout, I think, remains a lot of people's pick for weapons against the predator strain. And I kind of jump pack right over into this nice little stockpile of ammo. And then we just have to finish main objective and then this last nest right next to extract. And we're just going to end up working our way towards extract. Now I hear the Bile Titan working its way towards me, but I know that I have a expendable anti-tank over here. I think unfortunately I decided to use it on the Eruptor or the Impaler instead. Sorry. I end up start working my way towards these eggs. There's not much left to do on the map. We have literally plenty of time. I was not worried at all about time this game. I'm going to be honest with you, I do still end up looking for the last side objective because I think I end up checking like the far west corner of the map just because I was really paranoid about there being 5 and me just leaving one alone. And this is because a long time ago I did a video where I recorded the entire video and I was like, wow, that was a great video. And then I like looked at the very end and I was like, wait a minute, there was a LiDAR somewhere? Where the fuck was the LiDAR? Now here, when I approach this POI, I kill both of the hunters with the Cookout before I bring out the Flamethrower because the hunters can jump past the Flamethrower's range. And the Flamethrower, once they're close enough, does not have the stagger to bring them out of the jump. Objective near your position. Now I roll up to this this last objective, and there is barely any bugs on it, which is very nice. Very unusual, but very nice. Yeah. But the warbond, overall, Freedom's Flame, is alright. I think it's probably type 15. Me personally, I would probably get it like top 20, so near the end. Now I didn't have any grenades left for that last thing, and then I tried to dive, but one of his attacks, like I don't know if it canceled the animation. Something weird happened there, because I remember I like tried to dive and stim, and it just wouldn't let me. Maybe it was some kind of terrain thing. I don't remember, but unfortunate. And my jetpack or jump pack and my other thing are on cooldown. I give that guy one shot to prevent them calling in, but then I realize there's too many of too many bugs here. They're gonna call in regardless. I call Orbital Napalm over there, and I just focus up on defending myself. Unfortunately, I'm kind of getting pushed towards a spore charger somewhere, and there's not really much I can do about it, so I'm kind of just running this way. This was pretty unfortunate. I do finally get another Flamethrower and another jump pack down, but I'm kind of low on stims now because that guy jumped from 10 million miles away from the top rope, if you will. And I'm literally just holding on long enough to get my new shit. I end up prioritizing the Flamethrower. That's kind of a weird choice. I think most times I would prioritize the jump pack if I redid this, but I think with the amount of enemies, it was kind of manageable for me to bring out the Flamethrower. But you can see just how good the Cookout is, because you can get away with doing this like reload cycle thing to where you can continuously fire it, because the stagger time is longer than it takes to reload it. So you can just constantly stagger the hordes of bugs coming at you and deal fire damage without kind of care. It's why it's really, really good against Predator Strain. Now I do walk behind this to make sure this guy bumps, and then I turn back around to actually kill him with the Flamethrower. It is, you know, despite what people may say, it is technically an anti-tank weapon. And it does work. It's a little slow, but it does work. And I start heading back towards where my jump pack was, because we still need to get back in there, get those eggs, and get out of here. And that is literally what I intended to do. So once we get that, I do run over here to see if there's extra ammo in there. There is not, so unfortunate, but we'll find ammo elsewhere. I end up running back towards the eggs. There's not really much to talk about here. It's just kind of, you know, trying to dodge the Impaler. I am thankful I called a resupply over here. That really helped with the ammo issues, because I was entirely out on the Cookout. And then I am able to just jetpack and slide up the wall right here. Now I do have Eagle 500 if I really deemed it necessary. Or at least I think I still have it. But luckily, I can just stagger this guy up the wall, so I can throw a grenade in there. And then I have the Flamethrower to finish up all of these eggs. And that is some glorious freedoms flaming right there. I do grab my samples while I'm here, but unfortunately that Impaler Tentacle did cost me a stim. But we are now entirely done with... Nope, not entirely done. One more bug hole. We are now entirely done with main objective. So, we just have... I end up missing that, but thankfully I tried to dive and it did not let me go into the water. I do call Eagle 500, but then I cancel it because I'm like, no, we're fine actually. And then I have no fucking... Oh no, I know what I'm doing. I'm running back to the Mega Nest because I see that the car is still alive. This is also stupid as fuck. But I wanted to drive around, so you know what? Yeah, this is really, really stupid. Because I know the car is down here somewhere. I'll fucking jump back down. I see the car parked in here. There's 2 chargers who are immediately going to sandwich me. Don't go back for the car. Especially after everything you'd been through. I knew it was probably going to be fucked, but I was like, you know what? I want the car. What can I say?
Reporting to the front.
And yeah, unfortunate. I call the Eagle to kill the Charger, and I just go prone to wait for it to be done with. And then I can move in and hopefully get my stuff. There is another Charger that survived and is walking around. There's an Impaler as well. I'm able to get the jump pack, and this guy comes right over the fucking top. I'm able to get the jump pack and the samples, and I got my previous cookout, so at the very least my ammo issues are kind of solved. But I did not get the Flamethrower, unfortunately. And I think the Flamethrower is on too long of a cooldown for me to do much about it, so we have to just head towards there. And I ping where I think there could be another stalker lair, and I start heading straight there. I was not aware that there was only 4 side objectives at this time. Obviously I wasn't aware until the end of the video, but I end up chilling here because I know I can get down to that resupply very quickly, and I don't want to be waiting at the resupply. But nothing comes down, so I end up heading there a little early, and this is why everyone hates Firebomb Hellpods. Now, if you're not in fire resist armor, that sucks a lot more. I end up just throwing a ton of grenades over there because I really didn't have to worry about any kind of grenade. I didn't have to worry about being conservative with them because I knew I was resupplying again anyways, and I knew it would give me another 5. So I start heading all the way over to check this corner of the map just in case there's a stalker lair over there. There's not. Spoiler alert. And then I have an entire heavy nest to do, and we've got about 3 minutes left. How do you think this is going to go? Wow. High praise. Yep. I don't remember what that... I think it's the heavy nest is another 10 bug hole nest, which is kind of unfortunate, but you know. I was looking over here. I wasn't sure because the terrain was very bug nest feel kind of around here, and it kind of looked like there could be a stalker lair there. You know, I don't know. When you only have 4, you get kind of paranoid and you start thinking like, what? There could be one over here. Realistically, I probably should have driven over here and checked at the very start of the game when I first had the car, but I could tell like there was something over here because there was like a little like weird indentation on the ground, so it looked like it could be that like one whole stalker nest. But once I walk up to it, I realized it was not that. It was the bunker POI, which, you know, kind of sucks when you're solo because I don't have anyone to open it with. So I'm like, all right, well, we got 2 minutes left. Let's head on over and get done with this heavy bug nest because we want to use our stratagems on it before we run out of time. Now I wait till I have enough stamina and enough jump back charge to hop this, and then I see there is a ton of enemies over here already, which is wonderful news as per usual. Now I to be honest with you, I probably should have just called Napalm Barrage right here, but that is with the benefit of hindsight. I don't have that while I'm playing, so I toss Eagle 500 over there. I toss a grenade for that. I think there's no way that gets that hole. Yeah, but I do get this hole probably. Oh, never mind. Eagle 500 gets that. And then the Bile Titan Jawing, I think, got like another 2 holes. I stemmed for stamina. I wanted to call resupply over there, but it was still on cooldown. Not much I can do. Dodge the charger, head back into the nest. We have another 5 holes left, and we got a full minute. They're giving us more time. I get a grenade in there, and I know there's probably 2 holes over here, or maybe just 1. That charger was very, very close. Very, very close. When you're seeing the inside of the charger as you jump back away, you know it's a little close. We are at 8 out of 10, but we have 30 seconds left, so we are kind of trying to haul ass, trying to get some more stuff done. I do head over here because I don't have the flamethrower, so I'm like, this makes a lot of sense to grab. And then I have that one bug hole right here, and then another one right there. So I know I can get this one with this, and then I do that. I try to call Eagle 500 right over there, and then I really wanted to call Orbital 500 kg or Orbital Napalm. Unfortunately, I got ragdolled by the Impaler, which canceled my inputs, and then I had to prioritize the resupply. Otherwise, I would have called both. I did have enough time, because you could see I got through the majority of the Orbital Napalm code before I got ragdolled, and then I had to reset and then do resupply. But instead, I only have 2 stims to work, or never mind. I only have 4. I didn't grab the stims. Dude, what am I doing? I'm just throwing. Well, with the with the ability of hindsight, not grabbing those stims there kind of cost me this run, but you know, you'll see what happens. Because now I'm down to 1 stim, and then that is extract over there. That is the extract zone, you know, where all the bugs are. So that's good news. That's always a great time. And I don't have the flamethrower, but I do have the crisper, which is literally just flamethrower light. It's the exact same as the flamethrower, just less ammo. Well, I mean, depending on ship upgrades, as I said earlier. Now, I was kind of trying to hold this location. I called Sieve Artillery here. To be honest with you, I probably should have just used the expendable anti-tank on my back, but it kind of is what it is. The Sieve Artillery doesn't quite get the Bile Titan, unfortunately. I finally remember I have this on my back. I deal with that. And now I'm down to no stims. But maybe I can get lucky, and there's some stims over here. There's some ammo. Some more ammo. No stims, though. Really only in that, like, one alley that I saw and then never went into, unfortunately. I do see my resupply on the map, and I put a pin on it, but there's a lot of bugs around it. There's kind of just bugs fucking everywhere. There's a charger over here. Great to see. Great to see. I end up looking. I can see salvation in the form of those stims right there, but I cannot get to it. So I end up jump packing this way. I can't get around that. There's just no way. They injure my arm. I kill the hunters because they are more likely to deal damage to me than anything else. Kill this guy here. I am praying for jump pack to come back. I just barely jump pack up here, and then I kind of have to do something. I should have maybe dived through there. I don't know. Or maybe walk around on the backside, and then maybe you can jump pack over. I think there's a way out. I also think if I had stims, I could have just made it anyways, because I could have like stemmed and then dove and then probably gotten through. But unfortunately, I made some mistakes, namely not taking those stims. That's insane that I didn't take those stims. Why didn't I do that? I literally like, looked at the box. I guess maybe because I thought I could hold the area for a little longer than I could, and I was like, oh, I'll just like camp these stims here. But I never went back to them. I don't know. Hindsight's 2020. Kind of a stupid way to lose, but it is what it is. Technically, it's a full clear. Sorry about 2 failed runs in a row. The headphones that I have right now are like very hard. They have no foam insert, and I really didn't want to wear them for longer than I absolutely needed to. Once I have like better headphones, you'll know. 556 kills, 5 deaths, 20 stims used. Yep. Another easy mission in the books. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.